like to welcome everyone to Steve Tees Off, brought to you by riversidegolf.ca. Ken Poirier and his team. Without them, this podcast would not be possible. Riversidegolf.ca. I'd like to welcome Beon Yeong Lee.
Yep.
Right on.
Right, yeah.
Right on.
Thanks
Rocked
for having
it.
me, Stephen.
Thank you so much for coming out and coming out this afternoon. I'm going to call you BY.
Yeah, that's fine.
As we move on here, but everybody calls you that. But I stipulated to you that this isn't an interview. This is more of a golf conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a playing record. You're a player. You've played this game for a while. But what I want to start with is let's just start. Where were you born?
I was born in South Korea.
In South Korea.
Yeah.
And how'd you make your way over to Canada?
So when I was 16, my dad just decided, let's pack it up. We're going to Canada, right? And then the first city that I moved to in Canada was Montreal, actually.
Montreal.
Yeah. And then my mom, my dad, I have older brother and sister, but they stay in Korea for a few more years. My brother actually never came. He's still living in South Korea and then working down there. My sister live in Ottawa.
Okay.
But they had to finish their college first in South Korea. But me, I was like 16, so I just had no choice. And then
so you moved to Montreal.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a shocker, wouldn't it? Was it difficult?
Yeah, I mean, I had no clue they actually speak French, right? So I arrive at airport, Pierre Tourdeau Airport, and then I see the signs, and I told my mom, "Is this Canada?" Or I don't see English sign, right? I thought it was like Russian or something, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then my mom, after I arrived in Montreal, told me, "Yeah, they speak French here." She never told me that before.
So how did you? Okay, so you're 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming in. You're in school still. Is that correct? Or like?
Yeah, I was in school. Yeah.
So and one of the things about being in Quebec, I know I've been there enough, that you got to learn French.
Yeah. So I got into French school, and then I started to learn language first. Back then, I didn't even speak English, so it was very tough transition for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I learned French first for a few years, and then I just couldn't. How do you say that? I didn't see myself finishing high school in French school, right?
Uh-huh.
So after I turned 18, I go to English school because when you are adult, you can translate how do you say that? You can go to English school, right?
Uh-huh.
When you're young, like before 18, then you have to go French school as immigrant, right?
So when you were 18, you got to go to English school to finish your...
Like kind of continuous education. So I finished my high school stuff and then got my diploma and then I turned pro after.
Okay, let's back up the bus here.
Mm-hmm.
What age did you first pick up a golf club?
When I was 10.
10 years old?
Yeah.
In Korea?
When I was grade 4.
Grade 4. Come from a golfing family?
No.
So what what brought that on?
So my dad and my mom just start learning how to play golf back then. And then, that year, I think the famous LPGA Tour player, Seri Park, she won her first major championship in LPGA Tour, right? The famous shot, where she had to take off her shoes and socks and have to hit the ball out of the water. And, and then after that, she won the tournament. So that inspired a lot of families in Korea. And then after that, a lot of LPGA Tour players came out. And
there's a lot
from South Korea. Yeah. And won a lot. I'm in that generation.
You're in that generation. Yeah. So you picked up a golf club at a relatively young age. And what precipitated, what made your family, I don't know, move to Montreal from South Korea? Was it was your dad in a specific industry, or because that to me the natural thing would be to move to Vancouver.
Yeah, I don't know the backstory that much, but I think back then, like Quebec was going through some like independence, something.
Oh, they've always
election
been
and
trying
stuff.
to.
Yeah.
Well, they were trying to. They've always been trying
So
to
I
separate.
think back then, like the fastest way to
get
get
to Canada.
immigrant was Quebec, right? Because
Quebec.
a lot of like federal government
Uh-huh.
trying to send a lot of immigrants to Quebec, and then
Okay.
our family was one of them.
Okay. So you move there when you're 16 years old, and you still got your golf clubs with you, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you start playing right away as soon as you get there.
Yeah, so
Was it winter?
it was in
did you arrive?
April, so it
April,
was
so
pretty
spring.
cold, right? And then I think in June I played the first junior event. It was CJJ event in Montreal, and then I think I finished second there. And then actually I met my lifetime swing coach Martin Willian,
Okay.
and then I actually was paired up with his students back then. Second round was his last round, and he actually won that tournament. And then so my coach was following me the whole round, right? Because I was paired with his student, and then he gave me his business card, and
And
Yeah.
said, "Call me."
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then that's how I started working with him, and he's my like lifetime swing coach.
So you're still tight with him.
Yeah,
So
so brother to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you played 16, 17 as an 18-year-old, all just junior events in Quebec, or were you going down to the States or?
Yeah, I mean, I play mostly in Quebec from like 16 to 18. And
Mhm.
then I start to go down to States because I think, next year when I was 17 years old, I played Canadian Junior Championship. It wasn't actually in Montreal too.
Mhm.
And then I finished third there, which was like really good.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So you finished third in the Canadian Junior.
And then I actually got a lot of like college scholarship offers from States.
Mm-hmm.
But they just came to Canada like 1 year, and then they barely speak any language, right?
So
So I knew like college is not a right choice for me because like the first day I start playing golf, I was gonna turn pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
So you'd already made that decision.
Yeah.
You said that. So turning pro, how old were you when you turned pro?
when I was 19 years old.
19.
yeah.
What was your first event?
It was I think it was like the mini tour down in Florida. It was called Hooters Tour.
The Hooters Tour.
Yeah.
The Hooters Tour. We had a previous guest talking about the Hooters Tour. How was that?
It was actually a really good experience for me. I mean, there were a lot of like good players, right?
Mhm.
But it's like kind of gambling. So you pay like $2,000 or $3,000 as entry fee.
Yes.
And there's like 80 to 120 players. They gather everything there as like a purse.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you play well, then you get the money. If you don't play well, then you just lose like
How many rounds did you play?
three rounds.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And how did you do on that tour?
I made few cuts. I think my best result was like top 15.
Mhm.
But back then I actually learned a lot about like what to improve on my game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because some of the players that I play with were like Korn Ferry Tour players, like PGA Tour players, and then a lot of college kids came out and then tried their first pro year too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lot, like what to work on
Mm-hmm.
and how to play, under pressure too.
What
right?
was the
So-
biggest thing that you learned from that experience? So when you and everyone says, you've got to learn. Golf is it's such a fickle thing. Like it really is. Like
Mhm.
From one week to the next, you can be on the top and at the very bottom the following week. It's funny that you were talking about this because I'm following the Heritage, the RBC Heritage right now that's
Mhm.
being played. And I looked at Tony Finau, and he's like right at the very bottom. And he was sniffing around the top
Mm-hmm.
the last couple of, I'm going to say last 3 or 4 weeks, sniffing like he had a chance maybe, and then it's just straight down to the bottom.
Yeah,
You know, and that's golf.
that's golf. Yeah.
That's golf. So when you were playing on the Hooters, how long did you play on that tour for?
Every winter for like next 3 years.
2-3 years. So you kept on going down to Florida,
Yeah.
learned how to play on the Bermuda grass,
Yeah.
which
Very
is
much.
different.
Yeah. It was very different. Yeah.
That's
I learned how to make a wedge shot around the green on Bermuda grass, which is very tough. Like against the green, like if you don't know how to hit it properly against the green on Bermuda green or grass, it's a nightmare, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
Never mind when you're going and you've never played that before. You know, I was, you know, because I'm a golf nut, and I, like Rory won the Masters, but he spent the entire first week, the week before, playing the course. Just the whole week.
Yeah.
Playing
That's,
that golf course.
That's good advantage for him. Right?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm going to try this shot from the side of the tree here. I'm going to try all the shots that you go, okay, well, that's, you know, I don't know if every tour player has that luxury, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but he's, you know, McIlroy, he's out there. He's there.
yeah,
right?
When you have advantage, you know, you just have to take it.
You have to
right?
take
Yeah.
it. You certainly have to take it, because my money was on Cameron Young. I thought he was going to win because he'd been playing so well. But you never know. Like, you don't know.
Yeah, I
So
was
it's
watching him, and he was like his ball striking were everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he managed himself to, you know, not like, how do you say, like too tough on himself.
Yeah.
Remember when he like kind of had that complete meltdown like a few years ago? I think he learned from that, and then that's how he like managed to like, you know, hit a better shot around the green. And
Yeah, he did not. He
Yeah.
did not look
very
good.
like a champion, actually.
He didn't look good at the.
No.
He did not look good.
Yeah.
And
That's coming from experience.
that's
I
coming
think.
from that's
Yeah.
that's learning. That's learning. So you play a couple. You play 2-3 years down in Florida, and what happens next?
So after that, I mean, in the summertime, I play all those state opens in like northeast states in states, right? So like New Hampshire Open, Vermont Open, like New York Open. So they have all different kind of state open. So I had to play all of those just to, and for me to like feel like I'm ready to go play Q School, right? Yeah, and then I play PGA Tour Q School on the first year, and then I completely like played like really bad.
Where was Q School at?
That was in Florida too.
In Florida?
Yeah. But again, I learned a lot about like my game. You know, it was like very tough times for me. But, you know, I never gave up. So I just, you know, kept playing more tournaments and kept practicing more, you know, just with my swing coach, like what to work on and everything. And then a year later, I tried the PGA Tour Canada Q School, and then I finished third. And then I got onto Canadian Tour for like next 3 to 4 years. Yeah.
What year was that?
I think that was 2012, I think. 13, yeah.
2012,
Yeah.
13. Okay. So you because I always, because it's not the Canadian Tour anymore. It's
called like
Tour
PGA,
Americas.
Tour
Tour
Americas,
Americas.
yeah.
And I still don't get it. Don't understand all. I think
No, they just kept changing names.
they keep
right?
changing
Yeah, yeah.
names. and it's not, you know, it used to be the Canadian Tour, and at one time then they called it the Mackenzie Tour.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to keep track. It's like boxing. I can't keep track of whatever titles there. But so you played on the Canadian Tour for 4 years, and obviously you kept your card. You're playing well enough, but playing well enough on the Canadian Tour doesn't necessarily mean you're making a lot of money.
No. Yeah, it's on Canadian Tour, it's like a survivor mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. You try to be as cheap as you can, like traveling around the country, and try to make as much money as possible on the tour, and then get ready for like Q School at the end of the year, right?
So you did play. You played in a couple of Canadian Opens
Yeah, 2 Canadian Opens.
in 2010 and 2014.
2010 and 14, yeah.
What was that? Talk about the criteria for making that.
Oh, yeah. So I just, 2010, I just won the Monday qualifier.
Okay.
It was just before I turned pro, actually.
Okay.
I played as an amateur.
Where was that?
It was at St. George in Toronto.
In Toronto.
And then the qualifier was at Bond Head. Was like 30 to 40 minutes outside of Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Monster course though. It was like 7,500 yards.
7,500 yards.
Yeah, it's like got a kind of link style golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Big fairways, big greens, and long fescues if you miss fairway, right?
Yeah.
So
are you a big hitter or are you a long hitter?
no, I'm more like average. Like my club speed's around like 110 to 115.
Mm-hmm.
Hit it like 280 to 290 yard carry distance around there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So golf, but on a link style, the ball you should get roll, right?
Yeah, it was summer, so yeah. But it was my first the tour qualifier experience for me, and then I actually won the qualifier. Right?
So you got into the RBC.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, before I played qualifier, everybody said like you have to shoot like at least 64, 63 just to have a chance at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I shot 68. I finished with the birdie on the last hole though.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I play well, but I thought I wasn't like good enough. My score wasn't good enough because everybody just kept telling me you got to shoot like 63 or 64 to have a chance, right? So I turned my scorecard in and I was about to go back home, and then the official told me to wait because you're the leader right now. I was like, what? Okay, I'm gonna wait for a few hours, but I don't think I was gonna make it. But it turned out the course was so tough. Like I knowing
You put a good number.
yeah. So that's how I got in.
So talk about that first experience playing in the RBC in 2010. So then when you're playing in a qualifier, do you have a caddy?
Yeah, my swing coach.
Your swing coach?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had your swing coach as your caddy. So did you have your swing coach as your caddy in the RBC?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That must have been pretty special.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So explain that experience. Like now you're playing. It's the Canadian Open. It's a PGA Tour it's a tour event, man.
I have a funny story actually. So next morning on Tuesday, because the qualifier was on Monday, right? So I was driving my car. I think back then it was like Nissan Sentra 2000, kind of goldish and yellow
Beauty car.
Yeah, my mom bought it for like $1,000
Okay.
because they have to work, but I have to go practice, right? So I was like driving that car to the course. There was a like big line of BMWs, Mercedes, because they were going like they had like a pro-am, and a lot of PGA Tour players tried to get into the parking lot, right? And I was waiting, and finally it was my turn to go in, and security guard was there, and then he's like, "What are you here for?" Right? Oh, I'm playing the tournament this week, and then he was like so confused
Because
right?
you're driving a
and then I look like
a schmuck.
right. So he said like just pull your car just to the side.
We don't want to.
And he was calling somebody, right, for like good 20 minutes, and then he finally came back to me, and then, sir, just look at that dumpster right beside the clubhouse, right, where like all the garbage go to, right? You just have to park your car right beside that garbage dump, and then for the whole week. And I was like, it didn't like really feel like mad or anything. I was so happy to be in there.
Happy to be in the parking lot.
Okay, yeah, no problem. And then I just got in. I parked my car for the whole week there.
By the garbage.
Yeah, yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. So how'd you play?
The first round, I play pretty bad. I started off with, on the first tour, I started off in like 9.
And what was it a par 4?
No, it was par 5. I was
five?
playing with
Okay.
one guy, Jared Law. I think he passed away because of his leukemia like a few years ago. Kind of sad story, but great man. I talked to him a lot about the game on during 2 rounds. And another guy was Roger. I don't remember his last name, but it was American like PGA Tour player, right? So first tee, I was so nervous. Like I was like literally shaking my hands just to put my tee on the ground. So and then I was just setting up to the ball, and then I was like, I don't even know how I'm gonna start my backswing because I was so nervous, right? I was like, just pull the trigger and hit it as hard as you can, and then somehow I hit the center of the face, like right down the center of the fairway. Like I hit it like 320, right? It was kind of down there, par 5. And then I had like 210 yards to the green, par 5. It was like prime position. The pin was like kind of like front stuck left corner of the green. So I hit my hybrid. I hit it like 5 yards left of the green, which is not too bad, right? And I was in this like kind of thick rough. And then I whipped my wedge like 4 times. Yeah, that's how I started the tournament.
First hole.
Yeah.
Beauty.
I never had that kind of, I never had like, or practiced that kind of rough before. So I just kept opening my face and then just tried to get under it. And then the ball just sit there for like next 4 shot, right? So finally, like my coach told me, don't open the face, just put it on the green, right? And then 5th, like I think that was like my 7 or 8 shot, put it on the green 2 pot, and then that's how I start my first round.
Made for a fun 17 holes.
Yeah,
after
but
that.
yeah, after
Did you
that
come back?
Yeah, I shot 79, and then second round I was like, I had nothing to lose, right? And then my swing coach told me like, your swing is great, just your game is great, just go out there and then just show your game, right? And then in the second round I shot 65 or 64 actually, no 65 actually, and then that was like a best round of the day actually. So I missed the cut, by like 3 shots, but that round kind of proved me that I'm ready to turn pro because basically I beat like most of the top players on that of the world and on that round, right? So if I can just keep doing this, like I knew I'm gonna make it. Yeah.
Well, that hiccup, like when you talk about that, that's I always think about, I use this story of the first junior golf tournament I ever played in, and it was the last junior golf tournament I ever played in.
Okay.
Because it was so different playing tournament golf just as a 14-year-old and just playing with your friends, playing golf, and then going out and having to tee off on the first hole with 20 or 30 sets of parents that are all there wanting you to fail.
Yeah.
Like wanting you to hit it poorly.
Yeah.
And then you oblige them by hitting it poorly, and then you can just swirl. It's like that toilet bowl swirl where you're just going down and down and down, and then you make, you've got to gather yourself. And I've not, obviously I'm not I'm a hack. That's what I am. I call myself a hack, and freely. I love golf, but I just, it's getting, I admire anyone that has turned pro and been able to continue going on pro, never mind ascending to the highest level that you possibly can, because there's so many levels of it, and it's just getting more and more difficult. But just to get there and play in the Canadian Open is something that's special, especially for a Korean kid too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would think. So after that first Canadian Open in 2010, then you're still on the Canadian Tour. After that,
after a few years,
and you stayed on that, basically grinding it out on the Canadian Tour.
Yeah.
And did you have in 2014 you made it in, you played in the RBC again?
Yeah, so that year I was playing on Canadian Tour. I think just before that, the qualifier in 2014, I was playing the tournament at Fort McMurray on Canadian Tour. So
Have you ever been to Fort McMurray before?
I've been there like 3 times actually.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's way up north. So like by the time around like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I just woke up middle of the night and it was still like bright. There was still sun out up there, right? So it was kind of interesting moment for me, but I like the people up there, and then course was great too. They run the tournaments really nice. A lot of people from the town came out and then watch us playing. Yeah, so it was. I actually like the city a lot. They had big fire fears. So I had to text few of my my host when I play tournaments up there, and then they were safe. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's nice. So in 2014, that experience on the RBC, how did you play that year when you were on that?
That was actually my prime year of my career, actually. Yeah. So in that year, the famous players like J.J. Spawn, Tony Finau, Joe Damon, they were all on the Canadian Tour, PGA Tour Canada. So I got to know them a lot and travel with them and play a practice round with them. And then I think on that year I finished like top 20 on the money list. So, and then got into Canadian Open one more time.
How did that in 2014 in the Canadian Open? How was that experience for you, having been through one in the 2010?
Yeah, I was.
Where was that one played in 2014?
It was at Royal Montreal.
Royal Montreal. Yeah. So you're probably familiar.
Yeah,
it
was my hometown. So I played that course a lot, a lot of times before that too, because I knew some members. So I thought I was more prepared, but I missed the cut again because this one word from another Korean PGA Tour player. He told me about my golf game and everything during the practice round. So as I got into my head a little bit, and then he basically told me, "Your swing is not good enough to make it." Yeah. I cannot say like who he was right now because I want to,
You wanted, I understand.
So, yeah.
Was he just doing it to play head games with you, or was
no?
he
I don't think so.
Being a ass.
He thought like my swing was a little bit like unorthodox. Yeah. So he just say out like that, casually. But he got into my head actually, and then I made all the way to the final stage of Q-School that year too. So which was really good because I, played well on the first stage of Q-School, and then I made it to the second stage and made it to the final after, right? And then, but that one word got into my head for the rest of the year. And then I tried to change my swing.
What did you must have told your swing coach though? Did you talk to your swing coach about it? And what did
I was like kind of naive, and my coach told me like, just don't listen to that guy, right? But
it's nice to say after.
Yeah, but he was like PGA Tour guy, right? So I had to listen to him, and then I tried to change my swing during the season, and then that's how I played really bad in the final stage of Q-School. Yeah.
Well, like I can imagine, but golf is such a game where you can hit a shot that's phenomenal. And then you don't think that you go and you try and hit the same shot or something resembling that shot, and you're absolute horseshit. Like you're just, and you sit there and try and figure out, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And the moment you start doing that in your head, that's the moment. Like that's the demon moment where you just, it's not what you can't, in trying to figure out, like, and this has always been my problem, is trying to stop the head. And, when people talk about anything, any sport, I guess when they talk about any sport, when you're playing the best, you're not even aware of what you're doing. You just,
No, you don't even know your score.
that's right. You don't know your score.
No.
You don't,
You just keep playing
that's right.
like one shot at a time.
And I remember being a kid, and I grew up on a 9-hole golf course, and the 9th hole had a spillway to the right, really tight fairway, par 4 uphill, and there was 2 levels. And if you wanted to get into my head, one of my buddies, all he had to have to say, you're 2 under.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I'd pump 2 into the spillway.
Or just there's the water on the right, just don't hit it there, right?
Yeah, and go like, why? I go, why would you say that to me? But why wouldn't you say that to me? Because you want to beat me. But why did I let that get me into my head and start thinking about these things here? And I could just imagine, you playing in a tour event, and you said it was another a South Korean player that came and said that to you?
Yeah, he won like a few events already on the tour, so,
And you didn't feel in the position where you could just tell him that, you know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you were a touring pro, you won the Quebec Open?
I won Quebec Open in 2016. And then a year later, 2017, I won Canada Cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and in the Quebec Open, were there any big names that were in that?
Yeah. So during that tournament, I think I shot 30 unders in 4 rounds to win
30
by
under.
5 shots. And then there's some like big players named like Michael Gligic. He's a Canadian, play on PGA Tour for like few years too. He's from Ontario. And Ryan McCormick from New York, who I'm not sure now, but he played on like Korn Ferry Tour like for a long time too. Yeah, there's a few very good players out there back then too.
30 under.
Yeah. He shot 9 under first round, 7 under next round, and 5 under on third round, and then finished with 9 under on the last round.
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah, I was, like when you are in the zone.
You were in the zone.
I was like in the zone for like 4 rounds, so that was like kind of a special moment for me.
So you then the 2017 Canada Cup, where was that held at?
It was every year. It's the same course. It's at Victoriaville in a small town in Quebec.
Okay.
Yeah, and they host that club that tournaments from every year. So
so you won that.
Yeah,
in 2017. So then after that, that's almost 10 years ago. I guess close to 9 years
10
ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Time flies, right?
Time flies. So where'd your career take you then?
So after I won the Canada Cup, that same year I moved to Vancouver.
You saw the light.
Yeah, and then the only reason why I moved to Vancouver was to go play Asia. Yeah,
Okay.
I kept trying like the Korn Ferry Tour Q School, and then always fell short on the last stage or second stage. So I wanted something new, right? So I decided to move to Vancouver and then try to travel to Asia, like PGA Tour China or Asian Tour, and then.
So you were on you made it. You went over.
Yeah, I went over there and then got my status on PGA Tour China and China Tour. There are 2 tours. So I got both status on both tours. So I started traveling to China.
How do you qualify for that?
The same as here. It's only one stage, 4 rounds.
Okay.
And then you just have to finish top 25.
And you get your card. And what's the money like?
It's a little bit better than it was a little bit better than PGA Tour Canada actually. Yeah. So if you win tournament in Canada, I think you get like 30 to 40 $1,000 Canadian, but if you win tournaments in China, it was more like $50,000 to $60,000. So it was a little bit better. Yeah.
What was the big difference, like with going over there, playing over there, compared to playing here professionally?
I think the caliber of the players in Canada were a lot like more deeper. Like
A lot of American guys coming up here, and
compared to China. Right?
Uh-huh.
So even like, how to say that? Not gonna lie though, like the best players in China Tour, they're really good too. But it just the pool is like a little bit shallow, right? So it's easy to make the cut there than Canada, but to win the tournaments, you still have to play your best game. Yeah.
So how long was that? When did that? You said there was 2 tours over there. When does their season start?
From like March and ends in like November.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had status on both tours,
Mm-hmm.
and were they competing tours or were they competing?
A little bit.
Like
Yeah.
okay.
So, but they're like, how to say, that their schedule wise though is like all like organized.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they weren't competing for times. They were
no.
So okay. So you could play on both.
Yeah.
You could play on both.
Mm-hmm.
And that tour still going?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you were there for what, 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. And then you decided to come back to Vancouver. Is that correct?
Yeah. And then just completely quitting tournament golf and start coaching after that.
And start coaching.
Yeah.
And has that been a good thing?
I think so. I believe so. I married my wife, since I started coaching, now I moved to a new house. Yeah, from town. I sold my townhouse last year and then moved to a house this year. So,
tell us a little bit about where do you teach out of? You teach out of an indoor facility out in Coquitlam?
yeah, it's called Scratch Golf Indoor and Academy.
Scratch, okay, Indoor Academy. And who are primarily, obviously it's sim golf, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I have had my experiences with sim golf. It's, I think it's great. I do. You can't help but get better doing it, just simply because the only thing that I suck at sim golf is the short game. Like I cannot.
Yeah.
I just,
especially putting, right?
well,
Even for me, sometimes I just play few holes and then my putting sucks on indoor.
well, I can't. The thing is, like I'll be when I'm sim golfing, and what we'll do is we call it. My wife's sitting right over here. We call it date night on Friday night, which means that she gets a bottle of wine and a little plate of cheese, charcuterie plate,
That's
and
cute.
gets to watch me
Yeah.
play a golf course. And she gets to comment every once in a while and say, "Why don't you putt that?" I go, "Shut up." After you're pin high after 2 on that par 5, and you took 6 to get up and down from there.
Yeah, it's
And I go,
frustrating.
you come here and do it then. It is. It's really hard. Like I'm not gonna say it's easy to get the ball there. To get up and down is, and then when you play, like I'll sit there and I played Pebble Beach the last time, U.S. Open Pebble Beach was just insane. And I'm like crying. Like I hit a good shot and watch it roll. Now I'm not even on the green.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to have to, and it's so hard to, because I'm such a visual guy. I really am. Like I have to see it to feel like I can pound a ball into a wall, but putting, like the short game, I cannot. And the more data you give me, I'm like, my game is total feel and timing. I'm not built for that. I mean that. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about scratch golf and you have your students now that you teach that are coming in. What do you primarily working with younger, older juniors, women, men?
To be honest, mix of everyone. I have like beginner students. I have very elite level junior students. So it's just mix of everyone. Yeah.
Do you have any players like that are just completely stellar that are coming in that you're actually working with out on the golf course too?
Yeah. I've coached a lot of juniors over my now this year is my 7 or 8 years coaching. So out of those 8 years, I've taught a lot of elite juniors, and I think I had 20 to 30 wins on junior tour in Vancouver so far. So I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
What was the biggest transition going from playing professionally to teaching?
I think it's just trying to be as simple as possible when you teach your students. Because I thought when I was playing just tournament golf, I thought everybody was gonna just hit a shot and then hit a good shot, right? But now I started coaching, and a lot of students are struggling to hit a proper contact, and try to teach them a simple concept. That was biggest challenge for me. Yeah.
What's the what's the youngest age that you work with?
6 or 7 years old.
6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
And is that something that you had to acquire, learn how to teach someone that's 6 or 7 years old, or was that something that came naturally to you? Because in order to teach a 6 or 7-year-old any skill,
yeah, it's not, at that point it's not even teaching. It's just play with them, and just make them more interested in sports, and just let them have their natural ability to swing a club, and then that's how build a good relationship first, and then if kids like you, then it's gonna be a lot more easier after that, right? So that's what I focus on when I teach young kids. Yeah.
And golf is a sport like any sport. If a young person doesn't want to be there,
that's tough. Yeah, I have seen some students that are they don't want to be there, but because of their parents, it's very tough to teach, to be honest. Yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen it myself. I've played with players, and this isn't a stereotype. I've played with a young Asian player with his dad walking next to him, talking to him with an earpiece.
In the tournament?
No. Just on a round of golf.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's next level, right?
That's next level, kind of and the kid was a good player. He was a good player. But I could tell he did not appreciate the fact that his dad was chirping at him. Well, and then he on the 9th hole he quit because he had to go do homework. But he was a good player. He was, but I was thinking, Jesus, if I was 15 years old, that's the last thing I'd want is my dad chirping in my ear for 9 holes. I get enough of that. I just want to go out and he was a good player, but that's another level. That is.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand the kid because my parents were like that a little bit when I was young, especially back in, Korea. So your parents only want you to do good and, be better, right? But they don't know how to express their feelings towards your kids, right? And then sometimes translate as a wrong thing, and you're getting into bad relationship with your kids, especially in sports. So for example, when I was playing this junior event in Korea, I 4-putt on the first hole because my tee time was at 6:20 in the morning. It was pretty cold. There was frost, the bite on the green. So the greens were really bumpy, right? And then I just kept missing short putts because of the bumps. So I made 4-putt, and then my dad saw it on the first hole. After the round, he told me like you don't have like courage or gut to play in the tournament, right?
Yeah.
And then he told me to my house. There's like a mountain behind our house, so it's like 2 hours walk going up and down. And he told me to just go up there at midnight. I was like 11 years old too. And he told me to do that, and then I had to do it for like a month.
Wow.
Yeah. At midnight.
And what did that teach you?
Nothing. Nothing. I was still nervous after that too.
Yeah.
In the tournament. But you know, he thought that that's going to make me more strong.
Mm-hmm.
But,
well, you know,
yeah.
Do you have kids?
No.
Okay. Well, all our kids are grown, and some of them are athletes, and it's very easy as a parent to attempt. I call it living vicariously through your child, and that's wrong.
Yeah.
It really is wrong. And there's, you know, I never had that growing up. I didn't, because I was introduced to golf when I was very young, and my father didn't start golfing until he was in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that we shared, like we could do, you know, till he passed. We could always go for a round of golf, and I enjoyed it. But, and now, you know, one of my sons, he golfs. He was a hockey player, but he golfs, and he's on, you know, anytime you start, the thing about starting to play the game of golf is that you're on this forever pursuit of trying to get better.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah. And it never ends. It never ends.
Yeah, you can't master this game.
No.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You might have fleeting moments of, you know, greatness.
Yeah, just like how I won that Quebec Open with 30 under, right?
Yeah. And then it doesn't, and you can't make a putt. You can't make a simple shot. You can't, it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more you think about it, the worse it is, the worse it becomes. And that's why, like, so now that you've been teaching for 7-8 years, is there anything that you would say that you've learned through the teaching process that you wish you would have known when you were playing pro?
Yeah. So like teaching process, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the ground reaction force is one thing that I wish I knew beforehand when I was playing tour. Because I kind of had idea how to, you know, use the ground, but in these days, you know, with the force plates and everything, right? So you can actually measure how much pressure you apply to the ground and then stuff like that. So I wish I knew that before, you know, when I was playing on the tour, right?
Like more technical. You basically, are you saying more if you would have paid more attention to the technical part of it, like when you say force, what do you mean by that?
Like the ground reaction force.
Ground reaction force. Explain that.
Oh, it's just like how much you force you apply to the ground, and then it's the ground push you back, and that's how you rotate your body and stuff, right? So
okay, so just, I think overall you'd say, I guess the game has become far more technical overall, right?
Yeah,
right. It has, good, bad, or indifferent, like to that adds to. You know, nothing's more frustrating than being behind a foursome that everybody thinks they're playing in the Ryder Cup, and it ends up taking 5.5 hours behind them playing. That's one of my pet peeves, is taking a long time out in the golf course.
Yeah, I hate slow.
I hate slow play. Yeah. Like, just go and hit your ball. You know, we're not, you know,
it's not U.S. Open.
It's not this. That's right. This is not, you know, just go and play. That's one of that's a pet peeve of mine that's been around for quite a while. Because you lose me after 4.5 hours. That's when I'm done. But unforgettable golf course moments. What are some of the in wrapping things up here and talking about golf? What's the craziest thing that you've ever seen on the golf course? And let's talk about your professional career.
I had few embarrassing moments though.
Okay, let's talk about those.
I mean, like, in the tournament, I hit 5 shots into the out of bounds in a row in the same hole.
What?
I hit a driver one time, out of bounds. I hit another one, out of bounds. I did it 5 times.
And
in a row.
What hole was this?
That was back in Korea.
Oh, it was back in Korea.
Yeah, in the tournament.
Yeah. What round? The opening round?
Yeah, it was opening round. It was qualifier round.
It was a qualifier round.
I think I made like 13 or 14. So I missed the cut, and then going back home, my dad in the car told me like, "Oh, what did you do on that hole?" Right? And I make like 5 out of bounds in a row, right? And then okay, and then he stopped the car in the middle of the street. He got out of the car. He took my driver out and he threw in the river beside. And yeah, and then let's get you a new driver tomorrow. Yeah.
Is that tough love?
That was tough love. Yeah.
It was tough love.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you then?
15. Yeah.
15 years old.
Yeah.
Little tough love. Stop the car along the side of the road.
Throw the driver right? Into the river.
Yeah, into the river.
Yeah.
And somebody found that later and, oh, look at this. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay. And Beon Yeong, in closing, let's give your it's Scratch. You're on Instagram?
Yep.
What's your Instagram handle?
Beon Lee Golf.
Beon Lee Golf.
Yeah.
Okay. And you teach out of Scratch
Indoor Golf and Academy in Coquitlam.
In Coquitlam. Yeah. And you can check, people want to go and check you out online, they can. Mm-hmm. They can check you out on Instagram. I'd like to thank you for coming and visiting us today and Steve Tees
thank
Off.
you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity, not only for, it's for me, really it is, because I love to talk to people about golf. You are the first guest that we've had that has, I believe, played on the Asian Tour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a first.
Oh, thank you. I mean, China Tour, yeah.
The China Tour, the Chinese Tour. Mm-hmm. And I try to bring on, there's enough, well, if you're going to play golf in Canada, there's probably not a better place to be.
Vancouver, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's the best place to be.
It's the best place to be. No question. And I come from Manitoba. So
oh, okay.
This is, I've been out here since 1994. So I love it out here. I do. And when I first moved out here, I was one of those crazy guys that used to put super value plastic bags over my golf shoes and play in January in gale force winds with the rain pouring down out at Swanee Set, thinking that was fun. Now you'd never ever catch me doing that ever again. I'd like to thank you so much for coming on Steve Tees Off. I'd like to thank riversidegolf.ca for sponsoring this fine podcast. I would encourage everyone to subscribe, and I would encourage everyone to check this gentleman out. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thank you. We're out.